One code, one thing, one rule, man, that shit don't change. It's real niggas do real fucking things. Real niggas do.
Some new news that hit was Clayface is getting a movie in the DCU. Not in the Reeves verse. We call it the Reeves verse. Penguin, the Batman. That's its own thing. People thought the Clayface movie that was coming was going to be like in the same vein as the Penguin. I wish it would. It's not. It's going to be in the main DC universe, which in the main DC universe is going to have magic and superpowers and all the fantastical stuff. Okay. Again, the DC universe is going to have its own Batman that's separate from the Robert Pattinson, Matt Reeves Batman, because the Matt Reeves Batman is going to be in the Elseworlds universe, and they want to keep it grounded, realistic. Mm-hmm. So most of his villains going to be like
Scarface.
Just some people. I mean, like people that would. He has a villain named Scarface too. It's that puppet that be talking. Is this guy? He's a ventriloquist, and the ventriloquist, he's really the gangster, but he has a psycho problem. So he creates this other character through this puppet, and the puppet's name is Scarface. And sometimes you wonder, is the puppet running the ventriloquist? Is a fire ass character.
Interesting.
They could also mental illness shit. They could adapt that character for real. That'd be a fire character. You feel me? Good. And your whole mobster nigga with a puppet that's really running the show. But but the Reeves verse gonna keep things grounded, and it's a young Batman. The DC universe is going to be older Batman. Is going like his first movie is going to be them introducing the fourth Robin, who's his son. So that means a lot of his stuff going to be already established. So the DC universe is going to be his own thing. And that Clayface is going to be like the Clayface that people know, the monster, the big sludge monster that could turn into anybody. And making a movie about a monster that could turn into anybody, and they say they're going to make it a horror. But he's not going to be placed as the villain necessarily. I'm curious on how they're going to flip all of this.
I know, because like having that kind of power is hard to beat.
Bro.
You could turn into anybody.
The original Clayface character was, at first, it was just a guy who could change his face. And he put this, he used these prosthetics and stuff because he was this actor that felt scorn, and he killed all his former castmates and shit. And then it evolved into this. He could change the Clayface. He could just change his face just with clay, but just his face. He could look like anybody, but just the face. Then it became, another edition, and then it became the whole monster dude. And then they went back and remade the one that can only change his face. They said, well, the stuff he was using that he only could change his face with, it started affecting his whole body, and now he can change his whole body. Because it's really two different dudes at a point. But it gets comic-y. But I'm curious to see how they're going to flip it as a film.
I'm here for it.
I'm here for it because under the new leadership, DC's looking like it's doing well. Even their new Creature Commando show is pretty good. I'm rooting for DC, but I've always been a DC guy anyway, so I've been accepting a lot. They've been taking a lot of L's, but hopefully,
hell yeah! Thank God for this fucking Penguin show, and thank God for that type of the Batman they got, because ain't too many things they're holding on that's like, oh yeah, I fucks with that.
I mean, but again, James Gunn is taking over DC on film, and they rebooted everything. So all the old DC shit that's not Peacemaker.
How many times we gotta forget all this shit, huh?
They've never done that before.
What then we had I'm talking about, we gotta forget the Batman and all that series they just created with Batman, Aquaman, and Superman.
I mean, but that was the first time they ever tried to on-screen. They tried to mimic Marvel and they failed because they're trying to rush it. But they never tried to do it like that before. Typically, DC film movies, they just stood alone. Batman made Batman movies. Superman had Superman movies.
They never crossed, huh?
It was always standalone shits. You know what I mean? They might mention another character, but you know how Marvel is the machine of we're all connected. Niggas know each other. Niggas in each other movies. Marvel made that playbook. DC tried to rush that playbook, and that's where they fucked up. Like when they dropped Man of Steel, because again, when they dropped Man of Steel is when they was trying to start that.
Right.
Because even the Christopher Nolan, that Batman was all Batman stuff. You feel me? So they was never like that. Man of Steel was supposed to start that instead of giving us a Man of Steel 2 and a Man of Steel 3 so we could get to know this Superman and then introduce Ben Affleck's Batman, but give him his own movie and then another movie. They wanted to rush it. We got Man of Steel, then we got Batman versus Superman. We don't even know these niggas.
Yeah, I that's what I remember.
Why should we care about them fighting when this is only Superman's second outing and we don't know Ben Affleck's Batman? The last Batman we saw was Christian Bale and he quit. Like that Batman at the end of Batman Dark Knight Rises gave up being Batman. That was a one contained story. So it's like you can't build the trust that the Marvel got with the Avengers because the Avengers took like 7 movies to lead up to. So we got to know these niggas a little bit. They all got their own movies, but they rusted. They even had Superman die in the second movie. Why we give a fuck about this nigga that we just met dying? The death of Superman story, one of the biggest Superman stories, period. But the big deal about it is we had decades of this nigga being Superman. So when he dies, you're like, oh, Not he was around for a year or two, did he die?
Of course he does. He's been around a year or two.
That shit was whack, and that was the nail in their coffin. Then they tried to make a Justice League. Like, they tried to rush everything, and that's why all they got was zero-sum results, while Marvel did everything right. So now that James Gunn has taken over DC, he's like, fuck all them old movies. That was his own era. We gonna do this shit right from scratch. Everything gonna be connected in a way, but we ain't about to put out 50 movies a year. We ain't about to chase Marvel. We gonna do if you ain't got a script. And you ain't got a script that works. If you ain't got a creative mind about it, we ain't gonna green light it. We ain't just putting out shit to put out shit. We gonna do it from the ground up right. I feel like you can trust James Gunn. He the one who made Guardians of the Galaxy pop. He the one who made the new Suicide Squad movie pop. Typically, you put some shit in James Gunn's hands, shit gonna go hard. So he's got a 10-year plan for the whole trajectory of DCU. Oh, what's his name? Aaron Pierre that all the women liking right now, about to be the new Green Lantern and shit. So we get us a black Green Lantern. He's currently the voice of Mufasa. Shouts out to Kelvin Harrison from New Orleans playing Scar. You dig? We got the Superman trailer dropping next week because we have a whole new Superman coming next year. So there's a bunch of stuff coming out through DC that's looking like it's finally going to be done right. Hopefully it's not too little too late.
One goal, one thing, one move, and that shit don't change. It's real niggas do real fucking things. Real niggas do.